What's up, guys? Before we jump into today's video, just want to show you a cool transmission that I've been working on. So this is a full race 47 RE. Finished it out in the raw case treatment like I like to do on all of my race stuff. It is an aluminum direct drum, trans brake, non-lockup dump valve setup, going in a 4,500 pound no prep truck, heading out to Texas. And just thought this one was really cool. Just want to take a second and show you guys. If you want to check out that build and more builds like it, you can hop over to my website at www.getloganbuilt.com. I have all my transmissions listed on there. Keep in mind that if you are doing business with me, you're going to be talking to me and only me. I'm not going to kick you off to somebody else. I'm going to be the one going through your transmission, building it, and communicating directly with you. So now, back to your video. So today we're going to jump back into our four-wheel drive front axle discussion, and we're going to discuss limited slip differentials. There's several different companies out there that make several different styles, so there's a lot of confusion surrounding what you should run, what's best to run, and what is in these things from the factory. So from the factory, these have basically a spider gear. It's what they consider an open differential. So you're familiar with rear-wheel drive vehicles that are a one-wheel peel. They only spin one tire, and that's exactly how this front end works from the factory. So typically on a car or truck, the passenger side rear tire on an open differential is the one that gets the power. It's the same way on this, except for the axle's flipped around because it's up front. So generally the left front wheel is the one that gets the power. Now, you can actually go really fast with an open differential. You can do a lot with the open differential. If you're a budget guy and you've got 100 other things you need to spend money on, putting a limited slip in your front isn't something that I would start with. You could definitely go out there. This one tire turning is causing all of the same effects as having both front tires turning. So you're not going to have to change your chassis setup if you just start off with an open differential and then switch to a limited slip down the road. So there's a couple different style limited slips. And the limited slip is pretty important on this because what you don't want to run is you do not ever want the front to be solid, linked together like a spool or a locker. And although there have been some guys that have tried it and stuff, overall, there's not a lot of success to be had with that. And the problem with it is because you really need some slip between these two tires. It's not like it is on the rear where both wheels are at a fixed 90-degree from the housing angle, and they're both locked in and turning and going straight together. There's no concern with that. But when you get into the dynamics of what happens with the steering and you factor in toe and caster and all of these things that we have been discussing, if you have to give this thing a little bit of wheel one way or the other, and the wheels are locked together mechanically with a spool or a locker, well, when we turn the wheel, it's gonna, just even the slightest amount, it's gonna change the power difference between those two tires. It's gonna change what that tire, that wheel is seeing. So that's why if you've seen guys that have tried lockers up front, they wanna just dart one way or the other, because as soon as you give them just a little bit of wheel input, it's all out the window. So you want there to be slip between the left front wheel and the right front wheel. And the way you achieve that is with some sort of Posi unit, a limited slip. Probably the best way to do it, if you're dealing with Dana 60, AAM axle, Dana 44, stuff like that, is just a clutch style Posi, nothing special, conventional like what you would find in the rear end of stuff. Yukon makes them, Eaton makes them. There's several companies out there that make a clutch style. The nice thing about the clutch style Posi units is you can kind of play around with your clutch stack up and your clutch setup, so you can make it a little bit more aggressive if you need to, or you could take the aggressiveness away from it. So you have it's a lot of work to do that, but if you're real serious and that's what you're trying to get in there and fine tune, the Posi clutch setup is probably going to be the best deal for you. I run a Eaton True Track in this. So essentially the True Track, instead of having clutches, is a worm gear setup. So it's supposed to be stronger than clutches. It's supposed to never wear out. That's the benefits of it. The downside of this is that it's pretty aggressive. So if I was trying to shoot for wheel speed, like we've discussed in our other videos, and especially if I was at any sort of decent surface, this would probably be extremely hard to deal with because it's a little bit too aggressive. It doesn't separate the power between the two wheels as much as what it really should. But because I'm treating it with dead hooking, I'm dead hooking the tire, I'm not shooting for wheel speed, I'm able to kind of get away with using this setup. I would not, if I was going to buy this again, I wouldn't buy this setup because it's a little finicky. I've had to do some stuff like put some additives in it and try to play around with it a little bit to take some of the aggressiveness away from it. So although it's a really strong setup, I don't think that it's something that I would recommend to you guys. And then the ultimate best way, what we run in JP's truck, is what's called a wave track. Wave tracks are really their own deal. Usually on a Posi type of deal, when one tire starts to spin, it'll put all of the power to that tire. The wheel that's unloaded gets the transfer of all the power, which is really the exact opposite of what you want. If one tire is spinning, you want to take power away from it and put it to the other tire. And that's exactly what the wave track does. So it really, if you get into a situation where the tire spins just a little bit, it's going to take a little power away from it and put it to the other side that has more traction. It's extremely ideal. The problem with the wave track is they don't make it for many applications. So they do not make one for a Dana 60, or that's what I would have bought. In JP's truck, we have Ford 9-inch front axles, so they make it for that. They might make it for a Dana 44 now. I think I talked to the guy at PRI, and they said that they were. I asked him about a 60, and he said that it's in the works, but he couldn't tell me when they were going to. So as of right now, if you have a 9-inch and possibly a Dana 44, you can run the wave track. If not, you're limited to what's currently available, and I would go with any sort of clutch style Posi. And then make sure you keep in mind when you're ordering any sort of limited slip differential for these things that make sure you tell them that you're running in reverse. That's the big thing to always keep in mind with this, especially when we're getting into ring and pinion gears and limited slips, is this thing has to be able to work in reverse. The one thing about the wave track is they make a reverse rotation and they make a forward. If you put a forward in a reverse rotation, it basically does nothing. So you have an expensive one wheel peel again. The true track like I have works either way. It works forward or reverse, so that doesn't matter. But when you're ordering a clutch style Posi, just make sure that you confirm with them that it does work in reverse rotation. So that's all I got for you guys on this video. Hopefully you'll find it helpful. Drop a comment if I missed anything, or if there was anything you were hoping I would touch on and I didn't. Drop a comment in there, let me know. Keep the comments coming because we haven't had a lot of comment activity, and I want to pick a comment for every single video and start every video off reading one of your guys' comments and question it, but I haven't had any comments lately. So I appreciate you guys watching, and like always, we'll catch you on the next one.